There's not a narcissist out there that's truly hiding behind God. Because if they actually knew what God was, if they actually knew who God is, they wouldn't be able to hide behind him. If anything, they'd be running in fear from him, because of the God that I serve doesn't put up with abuse, doesn't put up with people that manipulate other people, doesn't put up with people hurting other people. If a narcissist says that they've met God, if a narcissist says a lot of different things and hides behind God, they're not hiding behind God. They're hiding behind themselves. They're hiding behind another lie that they fabricated. They're hiding behind another lie that they put in their false reality to try to keep you submissive and try to make you think that they are the ultimate authority. God is, not them. And that's the problem, because they're going to tout God. They're going to say that they're Christians. They're going to keep this whole line when they're not. They need to stop defaming God and Christianity and just admit who they actually are. That's just abusers. If you have a narcissist or someone who's abusing you in your relationship and they're using God in any aspect, whether they've had an experience with God, whether they're forgiven by God, whether anything like that, but it's still continuing on, there's not a changed life, then they haven't experienced God. All they've experienced is a false reality that they concocted, that they created to be able to keep themselves, their own God, on top of everybody else, be able to keep abusing you, and be able to use God and religion as a way to be able to manipulate you and keep you submissive. That's it, because they're only about the control. If someone has truly had an interaction with a holy being, an almighty power that's come into their life and actually changed their life, then what that person should be showing is a changed life. If they're not changed, if they're still abusing, if they're still raging, if they're still yelling at you and you don't see any change at all, any long-lasting change, any open vulnerability, honesty, then they haven't met God. They've only met themselves, and they think themselves are God. If you give a narcissist a boundary with no consequences, you just lay down a speed bump. Prepare to get run over. Narcissists never apologize. But if they do, they're probably going to do it for this reason. To be able to keep you around, to be able to keep you on the hook, to be able to keep you on tap. Because in a split second, in a moment, they realize, hey, this person's going to walk out. I'm going to have to deal with divorce. I'm going to have to deal with alimony. I'm going to have to deal with child support. I'm going to deal with having to find a new place. I'm going to have to deal with my ego getting crushed. I'm going to have to deal with all these different things. Wait a second. I'm going to apologize so I can see if I can keep this person just slightly longer so that I don't have to deal with that. Because remember, it's about me. It's about my ego. It's about what I want. It's about what's going to make me feel good, be comfortable, and keep that perfect image for everyone else. So narcissists, the majority of the time, they'll never apologize. But if they do, they're normally going to twist it around on you and do it for the sole reason just to keep you around. I'm sorry, but if you hadn't done this. I'm sorry, but if you hadn't looked through my phone, I wouldn't be screaming and yelling at you. So when a narcissist argues, first, they want to win the argument. One, because they think they're right. Two, because they don't care about the other person. But the main thing is they want to win the argument because they have to be right. They can't be wrong. They can't have that shame or guilt or anything about the possibility of them not being the smartest person in the room, them not understanding everything, them not being the God of the universe. They have to be right. So the thing is, when you get into an argument and they realize logically they're not right, then we switch it around. We start attacking the person. Because if I can't win the argument, I'll focus on logic, I'll focus on distracting you, I'll focus on devaluing you, I'll focus on destroying you as a person. Because if I can destroy you, then your logic isn't going to stand. You're going to walk away, you're going to be crying, you're going to be upset, whatever it's going to be. But at the end of the day, I will feel like I've won. This is why narcissists fight so dirty. They argue so dirty because they come to you with an argument, and if they can't win the argument, then they'll win against you by destroying you. I'm guessing if you're with a narcissist or a toxic person and you never see them get angry at all, either one, they're hiding it really good because a lot of anger is looming under the surface, or they might struggle on the other side. So more like depression, more like frustration, more like internal shame that they're not actually showing out in anger. That could be a good or a bad thing. It might mean they rage less, they yell less, they scream less, but there's still a lot of stuff looming underneath the surface. You have to remember a narcissist is dealing with a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings that they don't know how to process because they haven't been brought up to be able to know how to process those. They're dealing with a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, whether that's about who they are or about what they've done. And as a result, those things are hidden under the surface pretty deep, so it can be hard for you to ever see those or figure out what's there. Genuine remorse is accompanied by change. An apology is something that's accompanied by change.
You see, a lot of times your narcissist or the toxic person in your life is coming into your life and they're saying different things like, oh, I'm sorry, or I'm sorry you took it that way, or I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry, etc. But they don't actually mean it. They don't actually mean the words they're sorry. They don't actually mean anything like that because of the fact that nothing is changing. It's still the same exact way. And that's how it was with me for many years. I would say to my wife, oh, I'm sorry, and then I'd go out and still cheat. I would say, oh, I'm sorry, and then I would still yell. I would say, I'm sorry you took it that way, and try to degrade her by how I was coming across or by what I was saying. Genuine remorse, genuine apologies are accompanied by true change. You see, if someone's not changing, then they don't really mean their apology. If they're doing the same thing, they're not sorry. So typically a narcissist is going to hang on to the marriage and hold on and fight at the very last minute for one of two things. Either one, because they don't want to lose the marriage because there goes their supply, there goes their safety, there goes their security, there goes their control. And they don't want to actually admit that that is something that's happening. So they don't want to actually admit to their work or to their church or to their friends that they got a divorce because they might have to admit that it's on them. That's why they spin the lies and make it come back on you. The other aspect is they'll fight at the very last second so they can tell people that they fought. And they can say, I fought for the marriage. I tried to fix it. I suggested we go to counseling, and they said, no, I'm not going to do couples counseling with you. I tried to say, hey, stay, we'll work on it. We'll read a book together. We'll do X, Y, and Z. And the person said, no, I'm done. They left. And what they'll do is they'll leave out all the other parts. They'll leave out the parts about them cheating on you, them lying to you, them gaslighting, manipulating, abusing you to everybody else. They'll twist the story to make them seem like the victim. So typically a narcissist is going to hang on to the marriage and hold on and fight at the very last minute for one of two things. Either one, because they don't want to lose the marriage because there goes their supply, there goes their safety, there goes their security, there goes their control. And they don't want to actually admit that that is something that's happening. So they don't want to actually admit to their work or to their church or to their friends that they got a divorce because they might have to admit that it's on them. That's why they spin the lies and make it come back on you. The other aspect is they'll fight at the very last second so they can tell people that they fought. And they can say, I fought for the marriage. I tried to fix it. I suggested we go to counseling, and they said, no, I'm not going to do couples counseling with you. I tried to say, hey, stay, we'll work on it. We'll read a book together. We'll do X, Y, and Z. And the person said, no, I'm done. They left. And what they'll do is they'll leave out all the other parts. They'll leave out the parts about them cheating on you, them lying to you, them gaslighting, manipulating, abusing you to everybody else. They'll twist the story to make them seem like the victim. As a narcissist, there was a period of time that I thought I was cursed. I thought no matter what I do, everything is going to turn out the exact same way. I would get with someone and then they would leave me. I would get with someone else and then they'd leave me. I'd get with someone else, they'd start to leave, I'd find someone else and then they'd leave me. And then I would be like, what the hell is going on? And then I thought, maybe it'll be better. I'll get married. That's the thing. I'll get married and everything will be fixed. I'll become a normal person. All this stuff will pan out. It'll be fine. So I got married and the same cycle kept going on. So then I had an affair and then I admitted that. I said, hey, I cheated. I did this. Okay. And then I had another one. 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 And got to the place where I was like, maybe this is just who I am. I'm cursed to be this way. This is going to be a cycle that I have to deal with the rest of my life. So every 6 months to 2 years, something's going to happen. A relationship's going to take place. And that's just going to be my life. That's what I thought for a long period of time. Until I got to the place where I could break free of the lies and admit who I am.
A lot of narcissists are made up of boys that are shameful about everything that they've done and who they are, and they'll never get to the place that they're a man and they'll own up to everything that they've done, and they'll say, hey, I'm filled with lies, and I'm going to own up to that, and I'm going to have accountability. I went through a 30-day challenge with a group called Wake Up Warrior. WakeUpWarriorChallenge.com was huge in changing my life. A guy got on there, started talking a bunch of crap, started swearing a whole bunch, and it was like, whoa, who is this guy? But what he did is he started cutting through a lot of the bullshit that I put up in front of everybody else, a lot of the lies that I put up in front of other people, and started saying, hey, the first step to being a man is to stop fucking lying. And as I started getting into the program, as I started going through the 30-day challenge, then got into the warrior shelter, and then that's something that I'm living by every single day, started changing and transforming my life.